NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters1932.org.
Feeling good, like I should. When in Durga, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Sunday. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And I'm Ken Kerrigan.
Man, you know, Ken's been around for so long. He knew when to come in. He knew his time and his cue.
Yep.
I love that. Oh, man. Well, hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Sam. Just kidding. It's been so long since I've been here. I know Kyle's been holding it down, so I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful for all the listeners who are listening in now and who's been listening in the past.
Yeah.
We had some amazing shows. Today's going to be an amazing show. Next week's going to be an amazing show. They're all amazing, so super excited. And this show is sponsored by... No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Kyle. You know what time it is.
SNJRadio.com. No negative news, no politics, just feel good music.
Yes, I almost lost my flow today. I've been out for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a while for me. But I know you guys... We got some real ones who, who are loyal, who still listen to our show regardless of who's on and who's not. One of these days... Kyle's just going to take it all over if he hasn't already. So, but happy Father's Day to everyone out there.
Yep.
I hope you guys, message your father or saw your father or, brought him gifts. It's not about gifts. It's about gratitude and appreciation towards them.
Yeah.
And the ones that are going to be fathers, shout out to you guys.
Yeah.
You're in for a treat. I wouldn't know, but, from the stories that I hear, Ken is like, dude, I get a headache every day. Just kidding. They're migraines. But yeah, so we do have Ken here. My dad is, I believe he's working right now, so we would give him a call. Maybe we'll do like a surprise call, see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll probably hate it. He probably won't even know he's on the air. And he'll start saying some stuff like, yo, Dad, chill. Yeah, so last week I was actually gone because I went to go to my dad's side of the family. I went to a wedding. His brother, my uncle. It was great. My dad lives out of state. My whole family lives on the East Coast, so it was really nice to see them. I haven't seen them in like 10 years.
Yeah.
And so there's not enough time to like play catch up,
Right.
So it's just like we have to enjoy ourselves. And I really did. So, it's been really good. But I want to talk about fathers because it is Father's Day. And one of the main topics I want to talk about is the role of being a father and like what that entails. So I think the only person other than Joe, because Joe's a father. Happy Father's Day. Yep. He shot me. Bang bang. I think the only person we can turn to is Ken.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, well, it depends what century you were a father.
Well, let's talk about your century.
My century. Okay, that was in the... Let's see, my first son was born in 78. And then my next one was born in late 79. Then I have two stepkids, Damon and Davina. Well, let me name them all. I got Kenny Jr., Robert. He might be listening from Massachusetts, matter of fact. In fact, shout out to my sister in Iowa. She's supposed to be listening.
Okay.
And then I have Damon and Davina, and then at the end is Kyle.
Nice. The tail end of the...
Yeah, tail end.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure, Kyle.
Yeah.
No, not really.
My oldest one is 47, and my youngest one is 27.
Yep.
Yep.
Nice.
Big old gap.
So I'm sure as a father going through those, those timelines, those gaps, you probably you had to adjust.
Definitely.
How
definitely.
you disciplined your kids and
Yes. And then stepkids. Do you treat them the same? I did. I treated my stepkids. They call me dad. I call them my son and my daughter.
I think that is a huge accomplishment if your stepkids call you dad.
yeah. Oh, for sure.
You know, if they just call you Ken, it's like, did you really play that role right?
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's good.
I raised them when they were real young.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Davina
that's,
was
that's
6,
another
and
factor.
Damon was like 8,
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
So I raised them all their lives, and
that's pretty good.
we had ups and downs, and they fought between stepkids and my regular kids, and it was just really a 3-bedroom house. So I had 3 boys in one room, and a girl in another room, and then we were in the 3rd bedroom. So the girl was okay, but 3 boys in one room,
That's a blessing.
8 by 10, 8 by 10.
Oh, Sam knows about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a loft. I made a loft for them too on the 2nd story.
Nice.
So they go up there and sleep. So it was good. We had good times, bad times. I worked a lot though. I worked a lot. Usually 2 jobs.
Right.
And so I come home and weekends I do whatever they wanted. You know, they had baseball practice. So even the girl played baseball.
Nice.
So it was good. And then Damon was 1 year in football. And that's, you know, there wasn't really a lot of sports. They kind of did their own thing, you know. Unless I said, let's go to Disneyland, and then boom,
Everyone, woo!
let's go. When we're leaving,
How much was Disneyland tickets back in the day? Because that's a lot of people to bring to Disneyland. First of all,
I skip the season for $100. It was $100 a person.
$100 a person.
Yes.
Prices haven't changed. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just no, they're pretty expensive.
No,
now,
they're like
but-
$1,000 now.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for one person.
And then like you got to put like a percentage down, like 400 down or whatever, or 300
Yeah.
down, and then you pay monthly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So $100 back then was a lot, but
But that also included parking too back
yeah,
then, right?
It was worth. Yeah, it was worth it.
It included parking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Parking's like $65.
Dude, I know. See, I haven't been to Disneyland in probably about a year or so, but a couple years back, I bought yearly pass.
Yeah.
And it was like $300-$400 for the whole year.
Yeah.
You go there one time, you make your money, you know.
Right.
But then you do have to pay for parking. And at that time, it went from $20 to $40, and I was like, what? You know. And then of course you have to be there all day, and then you get hungry.
Yeah, but even if you're in all day, you might ride, 8 rides?
Yeah.
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 Oh man, it was terrible. I hated being in
You,
line.
you did it for the kids.
Did it for the kids.
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And I helped all my kids get their first car, you know, co-signed or whatever.
Yeah.
Kyle, he had his first car. Bad.
You didn't do hand-me-downs?
That was no.
No. Why is that?
Didn't have any handyman. I just had one vehicle for me to go to
okay.
work.
Okay.
There wasn't a bunch of cars, you know. I trade mine in, you know.
Right. Yeah. Before the air, we had that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just traded it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I helped them all. If they needed money, I helped them.
Right.
I help them when I can. You know, Kyle's going through problems with his car right now. But we got a couple extra cars now.
Yeah.
You know?
Nice.
So
Set you guys up.
it's working out okay.
What do you think is probably the most, not even difficult, but worrisome time, like scary time for you being a father and like your kids' age, you know?
I would say between 14 and 17.
Nice.
It was stressful.
Stressful. That's probably a better word than.
They
yeah,
would
clever.
say, Dad, I'm going out. I said, it's school night. We won't be gone long. I said, okay, and I'd be stressed because
Right.
I know they're out partying.
Right.
you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I just was hoping they weren't doing drugs and drinking too much. But I taught them very young. Right. I know they're drinking, so you know, what are you gonna do?
You just hope that's not too much.
Not too much.
Yeah.
And they don't. My dad always told me, I don't care what you do, don't get arrested. I don't want to get you out of jail, and don't drive and drink. Get a cab, call me, and that's how I told my kids. If you're too drunk, call me, and I was getting a little money for a cab, you know.
Yeah.
So don't drive and drink. Worst thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So
And honestly, it takes a lot of, courage for kids that age to really be like, okay, and actually call their parents and be like, hey, we had a little too much to drink. Can you come pick us up? And like they're like the dad, the parents, whatever, they're sleeping or, it's like they're doing their thing. And
I didn't mind. I knew, it gave me peace of mind.
yeah.
So when they did call, they didn't hardly ever call. Most of the time they were like me. They just crashed it wherever they were.
Yeah.
And me, I had a van.
Oh, nice.
So I just crashed in front of the house, wherever I was.
You're like, kids, get a van.
Yeah. Wake up the next morning and
Yeah.
go to work.
Yeah,
Whatever,
yeah. That's pretty cool.
So that's what I did. So,
Mm.
but my kids were really pretty good. I really never had much trouble with any of them. Sylvia, the mother.
That's
I
a
get-
different story.
I get home and she'd be screaming at him. I go, why are you screaming at him? Well, they didn't take out the trash. Why are you screaming at him? So they didn't take out the trash. Tell them to take out the trash. She was a screamer. She just loved to scream. Kyle knows. Oh my God.
Kyle got the tail end of it.
Oh my, he got the worst of it.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. I felt sorry for Kyle when I went over his house to visit. She'd be screaming, Kyle, I go, I gotta go, man.
Kyle, I can't stay. I'm sorry, buddy.
It's bringing back old bad memories.
I'll be praying for you.
Yeah, I can't yell at both of us.
That's funny.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys are just tuning in, it's 15 minutes past the hour. You guys are listening to Whatever Works on KCAA. We have Kyle's dad here, Ken, just talking about being a father and the stressful times and also the most memorable times. And we actually haven't stepped into that yet, so that'll be the next topic I want to bring up. What are like the proudest moment of being a father? What would that be?
When my kids graduated, when they were 18 and graduated. When I graduated at 16, 2 years younger.
Nice. You're
Yeah.
like, beat that, kids.
Yeah, it was hard, but there was like a 60% dropout rate in my high school.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy that year. Nobody was graduating.
What was the cause for that?
Most of it was their parents wanted them to work in the factories to make money for them, for the house. You know?
Okay.
That's always tough.
Yeah.
And you graduated in 78?
No, I
Or
graduated
60...
73.
73. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
50 years ago.
Yeah, 51.
Well, yeah, depending on the month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was different when I was growing up. I grew up in the 60s.
Yeah.
So a lot of drug, a lot of drinking. What can I say?
you know they say that your kids like naturally pretty much do what you did back in the day, so you got to be careful what you do. It's kind of like coding or programming, your genes, and then what you did back in the day, you got to be careful because now your kids are going to be just as wild or maybe even wilder. Who knows?
Yeah, as far as I know, they weren't because I check up on them. When they were going down the street to a party, I'd sneak over there
Party with them. Just
and look in the look in the window, see what's going on.
they're like Ken.
No, I gave them their room.
That's cool.
I didn't embarrass them. So unless something bad was happening, then.
Yeah.
But then I'd usually send their friends home, and then I'd
Then
tell
chew them out. Yeah.
I didn't chew them out in front of any of their friends. Kyle can tell you that. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't believe in that. Not like the mother. Ooh.
Yeah.
She didn't care when, where, or what.
Yeah.
She was a
Or who's around.
Who's around.
Yeah.
If he did something wrong, he got it.
Right. Yeah. Me and my brothers, we used to laugh about it because, like, my mom, totally different person. And I know she's probably listening right now, but that's okay. Totally different person when, like, we're at home and no one's there. And then as soon as, like, guests walk in, she switches up. She's like, she's a doll. She's all nice and sweet, The moment they leave, we're getting our butts chewed out. You know?
Yeah.
Man, my dad, on the other hand, if he was gonna discipline us, he was gonna discipline us right then and there. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of the roles is flipped. You know?
Flipped, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you know what I heard not too long ago, which kind of like, all right, I took it pretty hard. As a man or like a father, or whatever, there's 3 things you should do in your life, and one of them is plant a tree, and I'll explain why. Write a book, and have a son. And the reason with those 3 things is because all 3 of those things should like outlive you, you know. So it's like
Yeah.
kind of like leaving like a legacy or a dynasty.
There's one thing
like that.
I think you forgot.
Ooh.
You should do a book of
A genealogy?
yeah, not just genealogy, but what you did. My church is big into that. You know, writing down a little bit each day.
So like a biography.
Yes, like a biography. I haven't been doing it, but I need to get back into it. So when I'm gone, my kids know, you know, that I love them, and what I did for them,
Yeah.
and all that stuff, my jobs, and you know, just little notes. So when they read it, they know it's just for them.
Right.
You know, I
and
think
it's genuine.
yes, I think that's very important to do, because when my dad died, I really didn't know a lot. I think about it. I knew he was in the service. He was in the Army. He had a restaurant called the Greasy Spoon.
Nice.
He worked a lot, drove a cab, drove a limousine for a rich guy. He was always working. So I thought that's what I was supposed to do. It wasn't until in my 40s I realized I'm losing too much with my kids. I'm not there. I'm not watching them grow up. I don't know what they're doing because I'm just working. I would not have done that, you know. So I'm hoping my oldest son, he's kind of like that now, because I kind of told him, you know, you need to slow down and do things with your kids,
Yeah.
you know. Talk to your kids, you know. Find out what they're doing. You know, what frame of mind are they in? Are they happy? Are they sad? You know, it's very important that you stay with that, I think. So now I'm every day ask, how was work, Kai?
Yeah.
How you doing? And every night I tell them, love you, good night. You know? So I think it really needs a change, because I see my friends and stuff, and they're just work. You really got to slow down. You know, bills are important, but the kids are more important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, something that my lady told me when we were first talking, I don't even think we were dating at the time, because I'm in that stage where what I want to do is work. You know, not that I have to, but like I enjoy work.
Yeah.
You know, coming back from Missouri, it felt good coming back in the office. It feels good coming back here in the studio.
Yeah.
It's not like, this is not a job for me. This is like a hobby.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Having conversations with people, interviewing them, just having a good time. And, you know, she told me, because it's already foreseen, it's like foreshadowing, you know, everyone's worried about me because they're like, dude, when you have kids, you're not going to, you know, your excuse is like you're trying to put, you know, food on the table. That's why you're not going to be there all the time, you know. And that's probably one of my biggest fears.
Yeah.
But what really helped me is she told me, she's like, you know, have a timeline, you know. You say you're going to work hard, da-da-da-da. Okay, give yourself, let's say, 5-10 years to, like, really, you know, put your head down, put your chin up, and work. And then after that time, you know, give yourself that timeline to be with your family, be with your kids. You know what I mean? Because, like, the biggest thing when it comes to life is, like, people try to find that balance, right?
Right.
But I believe that it's not, like, my reality is it's not about balance, it's about priority,
Right.
right? Because if you're talking about balance, well, what are you balancing out? You know what I mean? Like, okay,
Yeah.
family, work, okay, friendship, you're going to put that in there?
Yeah.
Partying, are you going to put partying in there?
Yeah.
You're going to balance? No,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, it's priority. And
Yeah.
so when my lady was like, put a time on it, right? So right now, my priority is to work, get myself accomplished, and make myself feel successful, you know,
Yeah.
within myself,
Yeah.
feel worthy. And then the next, after that timeline's up, okay, now it's like, okay, if I have kids, I already put my work in. Now my timeline, my focus, my priority is kids, family, and all that stuff. So when people talk about balance, you're trying to juggle that 24/7.
Yeah,
You
in
know?
my case, I got out of the service and I got married right away. Boom, 18. Had a kid. Boom, right away. Had another kid. Boom, right away. You know, I had no balance. I just said, hey, you know, I was making $1.25 an hour back then in the early 70s. You know, it was rough. It was rough at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. But I think the biggest thing is I think putting God first, or at least for me, because when you put God first, you don't have to worry about balance. He's the priority, and I'm just giving it all up to Him.
He's going to balance you out. You want to hit that green button, Kyle? All right. Thank you for tuning in on KCAA. You're on the show.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. How about you?
Happy Father's Day to Pops right there in the middle.
thank
Hey.
thank
Hey,
you.
How's it going?
You too, even so I'm not sure who this is. No, I'm just joking.
I had a question. You were describing you prioritizing, and you made a comment, and you chose a word that caught my attention. Is in the middle of that you said to make yourself worthy.
Yeah.
Do you think that your worthiness is outside of you?
So the worthiness is definitely what's in the inside, right? Everything external is, to me, like manipulated and like seen in different perspectives. And everyone, like you are a different person for everyone that knows you. You know what I mean? Not everyone thinks of you as the same person, has the same values that everyone else sees in you. And so when it comes to like worthiness and like respect for yourself, it comes from within, right? So how you define worthiness to yourself is totally up to you. You know what I mean? And for me, if you ask me, okay, how do you make yourself worthy? It's being the best version that I am or that I can be, and setting an example and being a leader and making sure that if I have, like, how do I find success, or how does someone define success, right? Because you can have all the money in the world and still not be successful.
Right.
Yep.
There are people who like grandpas and grandmas, they don't have jobs. Like people don't care like where they're doing or at that moment, but like people love them and people
Right.
want to be around them. And it's like they have their own, that's their success. You know what I mean? And it's like it's defined to me by how much love is drawn towards you and how much love you put out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
agree with
I
that.
can't, it's hard for me to do that if my worthiness in terms of like being able to stand on my own 2 feet, being able to have a roof under my own head, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a point of dependency and then there's another point of independency, you know what I mean? And to me, I got to find that on my own,
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think you should be dependent on yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, once your friends are gone or your parents, they're asleep, you know what I mean? And everyone moves out, like you can't depend on anyone except for yourself.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like worthiness and success, now you have to be independent. Like you can't be living by yourself and be like, I'm successful, like I'm worthy of my own self. Like that's not what God made you to become. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like having a family, and having that family grow and having the family love you, respect you, and want to be around you. But how do you do that,
I appreciate you for clarifying that, because a lot of times we don't realize that worthiness is an experience,
Mhm.
and it's also in the actions that we do, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes we lose sight of the experience, and the worthiness that we do can drive us to the ground because we become so driven to become this person, and you never really experienced it by living a do, have, and be life of that worthiness. If the experience of your worthiness is in the stuff that you do, that worthiness is going to go in and out depending on what your accomplishments are.
Mhm.
And so I like how you said that there are two different versions of that. And a lot of times as people, we discount our human experience. It is so important to maintain that experience of self-love, self-esteem, self-value, self-worth, even if you don't have the stuff that you think that you should have today. So I appreciate you.
No, well, thank
Yeah.
you for calling
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you.
Thank you for calling in.
And
Cool.
you know, shows and movies, like, they help, you know, express that.
Yeah.
And like, everyone's seen Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
What happens at the end of the show? Like, he made it, you know, theoretically speaking, like, financially. He made all this money and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, he was by himself.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And was he happy being by himself? Absolutely not. You know? And so, like, it's just, when you get buried, okay, who's going to show up to your funeral?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I think that's the biggest thing to look at, because, you know, we had someone, you know, this last week who unfortunately passed away too early. You know what I mean? But, like, his worthiness will forever, you know, continue.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know, I think worthy, you know, it goes back to the Latin, you know, it goes back to how much something is worth, right?
Mhm.
And like, you ever hear that old expression, you know, keep it a buck?
Mm-mm.
You know, you never heard that?
No. What was the expression?
Keep it a buck?
Keep it a buck?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Explain the expression.
Basically, just being the best version of yourself, and that people can see that. You know, you want to be around people who are a buck. You know, you don't want to hang around people who are worth 73 cents.
Mm.
You know, or 50 cents. Or, you know, people, you know, when you put God first and you put people first, you know, people will see that,
Mhm.
and they'll naturally gravitate towards you.
Right.
And so, you know, worthy is, it goes back to, you know, a monetary value. People would put monetary value on people, you know, especially in the Roman times and in, you know, in Greek. You know, why should I buy my clothes from you than this guy? Well, because I have this to offer, you know, this, and this, and that makes you more valuable to me. So I'm gonna keep buying my wares and my spices and this from you. So that's where worthiness comes from.
And
know.
if we can tie that into being a father, like, I think being a father, being a dad, just means a lot more than just a title,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. You
And-
got to live up to it.
And how does someone live up to it?
Yeah.
Ken?
We have to ask the father.
Yeah.
we gotta ask
Yeah.
the father.
Yeah, well, that's a tough one. I try to do the best I can. I treat everybody the same. Treat all my kids the same. I miss my mother and dad a lot.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's never gone away from me.
Yeah. Meme is.
Was quite a woman.
Yeah.
Kyle didn't meet my dad, but he was a good guy. He died in '92. Bad cancer, bad. But we're about out of time, so.
All right. Well, hey, guys.
For the fun.
We'll be right back, guys. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break. Thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you guys continue. Stay tuned, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Yeah, because Ken said so.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood, feeling blessed.
From the Bureau of Economic Geology, this is Earth Date. You've probably used GPS today in ways you don't even know about. Of course, your smartphone is a miracle of GPS navigation. It receives data from a network of 31 satellites orbiting 12,000 miles above us At least 4 of them are visible from any place on Earth at any time. It uses that data to pinpoint your location to within 10 feet. It's pretty amazing. But there are many other ways that GPS impacts our lives. It helps airline pilots and ship captains stay on course. It helps taxis find their fares and military missions find their targets. And it plays important roles in bank transactions and power grids. In fact, because the GPS satellite network is even more stable than the shifting surface of the planet, scientists now use it to track continental plate movement. It shows that Australia moves as fast as fingernails grow, about 3 inches a year, while Hawaii holds the record, moving toward Japan at 4 inches a year. Geodetic surveys correct GPS coordinates for the shifting Earth and send updates to our devices on demand. And the whole thing is about to get more precise. The next generation of GPS will use both satellite and ground stations to be accurate to within 1 inch. We'll need it, as future technologies like driverless cars, delivery drones, and things we can't even yet imagine rely on GPS for increasing precision. I'm Scott Tinker, located precisely in Austin, and thanks for listening.
Earth Date is produced by the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas at Austin. Earth Date is researched by Julie Hennings, written by Harry Lynch, and distributed by Mark Blunt and Casey Walker. For more stories, follow us on Facebook or visit earthdate.org.
Hi there, this is Chris Klein, investment manager for Capstone Wealth Management. Hey, I've been through the early 1990s bond market implosion, the late 1990s stock market melt-up, the 2000 to 2002 dot-com crash, the rate hike scare in the mid-2000s, the great financial crisis, the pandemic-induced 2020 collapse, the inflation madness, and, of most recent memory, the 2022 bear market. You know what all these have in common? We helped people just like you navigate their finances through. Hey, my boys say I'm old, but I say I'm battle-tested. Not only that, but I've seen the underbelly of Wall Street, and I know how to call a turd. Sometimes the best investment is the one you don't make. But without experience, how would you ever really know? I can help. I've been blessed to work for a lot of people who have entrusted tens of millions of dollars of their hard-earned capital to me and my team. When you become a part of the Capstone family, you are treated like family. If you'd like to see how we can successfully manage your money and to find out if there's a fit, let's start a conversation. The best way to do that is to shoot us an email. info@careformywealth.com. That's info@careformywealth.com. One more time, info@careformywealth.com. I look forward to working for you and your family.
In these trying times, many people are depressed and lost because the future of our society is up in the air. If you're turning to substance abuse because you are feeling there is no hope, we have a way for you to see the light. SAD, or Stop Abusing Drugs, is a nonprofit organization that will help you at no cost to you stop abusing drugs. Founded by Tony Navarchi, SAD will refer you to the top detox doctors in your area. SAD will pay every and any cost for you, including doctor visits, counseling, and medications. If you need help, SAD is there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you or a loved one needs help, or if you have a suggestion or idea for Tony, you can reach out to him by calling 844-493-3386. That's 844-493-3386. Or email Tony at tony@saddetox.com. That's Tony at SADDETOX.com.
Hi, I'm Lanny Swerdlow, and I'm back on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM every Tuesday at 8 p.m. My show is Beyond Common Sense. It's Lanny Sense, featuring me, Lanny Swerdlow, KCAA's resident gay, Jewish, liberal, pot-smoking, race-mixing, left-handed atheist, an evangelical, fundamentalist, Christian, nationalist, worst nightmare, with subjects that no one else will touch in quite the same way. Every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on Express 106.5 FM, the Legacy 1050 AM, and live streaming on KCARadio.com.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM. We'll give Frank a second to okay, never mind. I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And I'm Ken Kerrigan.
Yes, Ken, if you guys don't know who Ken is, this is Kyle's dad. It is Father's Day, so again, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Thank you.
And if you guys are just tuning in, we had a great conversation. We had someone call in, and we had some pretty good topics. You guys can go back and listen to it. I highly recommend it, actually.
Yeah.
You can go back on kcaradio.com, look on our previous podcast, or you can go on YouTube, or basically anything, and just look up KCAA, whatever works.
Yeah,
and we should be popped up there.
YouTube, we're on Audible, Farmers Only.
I think my sister's on the Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook.
Yeah,
Facebook,
my sister's
Instagram.
from Iowa.
From Iowa,
Iowa.
Everyone's scattered out, so
Yeah.
It's always a blessing to have your father, for one, still alive, and for two, around and close. I went to Missouri last week, as I was explaining earlier on the show, and it was awesome to see my dad and see that side of the family. It just makes it that much more precious to be there, and because I don't see my dad that often, so every time I see him, I try to look for his aging, his marks, how thin his hair is, or his bald spots and all that good stuff,
Yeah.
I hope he's not listening. He still looks good. He still looks young. Crazy story, actually, if you guys don't mind me talking about it. So my dad's brother, who is my oldest brother's age, he's only 27. He got married. That's why we went out there. But my dad left that family when his name's Tommy. When Tommy was born, right?
Yeah.
And so they really didn't have communication or anything like that. But during this wedding, after the rehearsal, we went out to eat at this lady's house. She allowed us to come over, have some food and stuff. I kid you not, when my dad was talking to his brother, it was like watching my dad talk to my dad. Their gestures, their cadence, the way they talk, their hand motions.
Yeah.
It was so crazy that his fiance, that part of the family, they were like, wow, they're almost like twins, but worse than twins, right? Yeah. And they were like, they grew up together. And I was like, no, they didn't grow up together.
That just shows you.
And everyone just sat down and just watched them talk. The whole family, both sides, because of how insanely similar they are.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
And when my dad was 18, he got in a car wreck and he had to get titanium plates, reconstruction in his face. Yeah. And he always talked about how he looked different, And Tommy, he has the way he acts is just so much like my dad. And me and Timmy were sitting there looking at both of them, and we're like, Dad probably looked like that back in the day before his car accident. Yeah. Because Uncle Tommy has a very strong masculine jawline. He didn't really have the cheekbones or anything like that.
Yeah.
But, this just trying to figure it, because I never knew my dad when he was 18 or before his accident.
Right, yeah.
So how I see my dad now is how I have always seen him.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But, what was very heartwarming is when the last day we went out to eat dinner, and then we were outside just enjoying the time and the sun and everything. And he's like, "Oh, what time is it?" And I said, "It's 6 o'clock." And I had to go to the airport. And then he was like, "It's about that time for you to leave, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I was afraid of that," And I was like, "Ah." I was like, Dad, and then I gave him a nice little hug. Timmy gave him a little hug, and then we went our ways. And I was like, Timmy, him saying that, Dad, enjoys us, being there, being around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he misses you guys.
Yeah. And it was actually hilarious. We stayed up. It was the night before the wedding. Timmy fell asleep, bro. Timmy, he fell asleep on the couch, and it was just me, my dad, and my uncle. And we talked until 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then my dad was like, "Yo, Tommy, you're getting married in a couple hours. It's 5 a.m. We got to go to sleep," And it was a really good time because the last time I saw my uncle, I was 9 years old, and we're, sword fighting with lightsabers and building Legos,
Yeah.
And now he's a paramedic, getting married. Like, on both sides, it's just like we haven't seen each other in such a long time.
Yeah.
And it's a good relationship with anyone, not even just family, but when you don't see each other or talk to each other for years, and then you just pick it right back up.
Yep.
And that's just how it was. So it was awesome, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, one of these days, like last year, I flew my dad out for my birthday. I said, "Hey, Dad," I didn't even give him notice. I said, "Hey, I bought you a plane ticket. You're coming out to see me, And my dad was like, he got excited, but then at the same time, he's like, "Wait, I gotta, put my 2 weeks in for the notice for my job." Like, I kind of rushed him, by borrowing him. But I was like, it's just because, I miss my dad,
Yeah.
And so, being a father is really important.
Yeah.
As like kids grow up and kids just being born, like they need a father. Maybe a father doesn't have to physically be there all the time,
Right.
but at least to show them the ropes, how to be a man, or how to, be a human being, like someone who is actually in the right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, treat people right and be courteous.
Yeah.
My dad was big into that. Be courteous with everybody.
Right.
Don't be a bigot. Don't be prejudiced. Treat everybody the same, and life will be better. Life will be smoother.
Yeah.
But I remember growing up, my dad taught me things. I was like 8, and he was doing electricity in the house, fixing a plug. And he goes, "Put your finger on that plug." And I looked at him. I says, "Is that going to hurt?" "Maybe," he says. So I did it, and it gave me a little zap. He goes, "See, now you know what electricity feels like. Don't be afraid of it. Now work with it, but know that it can hurt you."
Yeah.
Because it was just a little plug,
Yeah.
But through the years, he taught me different things, little carpentry. For a while, we were working together, making picnic benches for the school district of Redlands, dog houses. We went into fixing swamp coolers.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, when I wasn't working, I was working with him.
Nice.
So, at the end, I was really happy about that, being with him.
Yeah.
Because in my younger age, he worked a lot, so he wasn't around. And he'd take us out to ball games and teach me how to hit a ball, catch a ball. So there was some really good times with my dad, but then there was some times that I didn't see him for months, when I got married. And especially he moved out to California. And I was still in Massachusetts, So it saddened me when my parents moved away. And I decided to move. I just packed up. "Hey, honey, we're moving to California."
We're moving to Cali.
We're moving to Cali.
Seeing some palm trees.
Yep.
What are
smog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, what have you and your dad done in the past? Like, what do you enjoy doing with your dad?
Oh, we have movie passes. We go to the movies. When I have the time, we'll go out to the movies, and then, we've actually been doing a lot more stuff since he's been off oxygen.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Because throughout my whole life, he was on oxygen. He had about 4 hours, and that was just enough time to go to dinner and come back.
Yep.
And so, the first week he got off oxygen, the week after, we took the Metrolink all the way to L.A., all the way to Long Beach.
He almost killed me.
Yeah.
We're laughing, but he's serious.
Yeah. Yeah. I made him walk a mile.
Yeah. He says it's just down that way. Down that way is a mile. And it's not straight. It's down a hill.
Up a hill, turn left, turn right.
And it was like San Francisco. This one spot is zigzag.
Oh, man.
Going down. So my walker's going back and forth. Real quick, though, I wanted to say one thing about my son. When he was small, he made me a password for my computer. He said, "Dad, what's your 3 favorite things?"
Yeah.
Church, kids, and money. I wasn't paying attention to what he was doing.
That wasn't your password. That was your email.
In my email. I'm sorry, my email.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden he goes, "Your email's set up." I go, what? So I never changed it.
Yeah.
You know, I had it for years. I just kept it. And then my favorite thing, which really made him happy, was watching him play video games.
Oh yeah.
He'd try to teach me.
You can't do that. You can't
Not when you're over 40.
Right.
Your brain don't work like that.
Yeah, your thumbs.
Your fingers. And so I'd sit on the bed and watch him play, and that smile would be on his face.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know? And I remember that, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. What kind of game did you try to teach your dad?
No lots, dude.
Yeah?
Name it.
Just some like
Call of Duty.
Oh,
Call of
Call of Duty, college. Yeah. Looking up, looking down, spinning. You're like, no, it's Dad.
Yeah,
left, and you're just like, ah.
Hit the B button. Hit the B button.
You're like, where's the B?
Where's the B?
That's so funny.
Yeah. God of War. He was okay at God of War.
Oh, really?
At the end.
Yeah.
But at the end, he'd just roll his eyes.
I would have done like Capcom versus Marvel or something, you know, like
yeah.
just something left, right, just random buttons you can press and hopefully hope for the best, you know.
Yeah.
My dad laughed really hard one time because I was playing Call of Duty with one of our friends, Eric, and we were like, again, like 9, 10, 11 years old. And we were out here, you know, playing video games, killing people online, listening to like the Beatles, you know, or listening to like Fleetwood Mac. And he was walking outside, he was passing by to go outside, and he's like, oh, this is a good song, and then he just sees us just going hard, you know, and he's like laughing. He's like, that's too funny. Those are my kids, you know.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I miss the most, you know, as a kid. I mean, you still do it now, but it's just not the same. When I remember like going to sleep, you know, my dad was like, all right, good night, kids, da-da-da, love you. And then we always play that game. We're like, oh, love you more. He's like, I love you more. And like, no, I love you more, you know? As he's like walking away, he's like trying to walk away from us, but we kept saying, you know? Like, it's like times like those. And shout out to my brother. He's a dad, too. He has 2 baby girls and a son. And he's in the Marine Corps, and he had a chance to basically be like Mark Saw. And he decided to step down from that solely so he can like spend time with his kids.
Yeah, and I think he'll appreciate that more later.
He made the right choice, and he knew he made the right choice, because at the end of the day, he told me the most heartwarming thing is when he comes home and then all the kids run up and like hug his leg, you know, and us as a kid, I remember doing that too.
Yeah,
you know, we had 3 brothers and a sister, and like we'll see if Dad can hold us all, you know. And year after year, it got a little harder for my dad. We were getting bigger, you know, we're getting heavier, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
you know.
One of my favorite memories with your dad, and I tell this story every year.
Is it the shovel story?
No.
No. Okay. Go ahead.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, it is.
But it was the big airsoft war.
Yeah.
And because all the properties on the street connected in the back, there was like an alleyway, and so we pretended that was like no man's land.
Right. Yeah.
And so I kind of got up on this perch, and I was with Harrison, and your dad comes up. He's like, "What are you guys doing? You know, what are you guys aiming at?" And I always knew he was like military based, but then he was like, you know, when you look down the scope, when they're that far away, you have to adjust for like
wind direction.
Yeah, like wind direction, velocity.
Yeah.
You know, because the Earth curves, and like I was like 11, so I'm just like, okay. So I'm looking. He's like, you know, you got the aim good. You just gotta 2 notches up. So I aim it a little bit more up. He goes, okay, go ahead and shoot. Bam! I got JC right in the forehead.
Right in the eye.
And he was crying, like, because these are like metal BBs. And then he looks up. He goes, "Oh shoot, that's one of my kids." He booked it. I remember booking it, and he brought JC inside. And we all paused.
He actually told that story out in Missouri.
Did he?
Yes. Bro, he told the whole family. He was like, yeah. He's like, I was so proud of him. Da da da. And then he was like, who'd you shoot? And then he was like, JC. He's like, oh, that's my son. And then he had to like, you know, like he was really happy for you. And then he found out, you know, it was like one of his kids. And
I like the story when you guys, Timmy and Kyle tell me all the time. They bring up when you guys all slept on the trampoline.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I got cold and went inside. And spent the night in the hammock. And Cole was cuddling me. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah. No, that was awesome. It was great. Yeah, my dad, if you guys never met my dad, at one point he looked like Wolverine.
He was.
Yeah. Yeah. He had the hair, the beard, the leather jacket. He used to rock that. And I threw a high school party one time, you know. I told my mom, hey, kick back, no more than 12 people.
Oh, yeah. It never ended like that.
Man, my parents closed the party down, and my mom literally was out in the driveway, and people were still rolling up, and my mom was like, hey, party's over. Like, there's no, you know, she stayed up for hours because people just kept coming, you know. But I remember, like, the height of it all was it got so crazy, so enormous that people weren't even at my house anymore. They're partying like down the street, in the neighbor's yard, at the church, you know. And I go to the church, and then a cop pulls up, and you know they got a complaint or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, is it owner?" I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "Who's your dad?" Or "What is your dad?" Because I told him, I was like, "Oh, my dad's walking around the block. You know, he's doing his little thing," and he's like, "What does your dad look like?" And when the officer asked me that, I hear a bunch of people from all over, oh, he looks like Wolverine, he looks like Wolverine. And the cop just kind of chuckled, and he's like, okay. And he left to go talk to my dad, you know, things like that. But, you know, everyone loved my dad.
Yeah.
You know, as scary as he may seem in the eyes of other people, like, he's a really cool guy. He's pretty funny. Man, that side of the family... because, you know, as a kid, you don't really understand, like, the jokes that parents tell or adults, you know, you know, things like that. When I went out to Missouri, man, like, that whole side of the family, I was like, whoo, you got to have some tough skin. Because now, like, me and Timmy were looking at you like, dang, like, that's just how my family is on this side. You know? Very, very, very cool to watch. Like, listen to. So, you know, my dad did an amazing job raising us kids.
Yeah,
and,
he's a really good guy.
Yeah,
and I miss him too.
And my mom too. My mom raised us as well. I can't not give my mom credit. But it is Father's Day, so we're going to talk about the dads. You know, but
my house was ground central for all my kids' friends. They'd all call me Dad or Pops.
Right. Yeah.
So after school, they'd all come to my house for snacks and do their homework.
You got to feed the whole neighborhood, right?
Yeah, I mean it'd be gallons of Kool-Aid and chips, bags of chips, you know. So
if I know we're a little short on time, we got about like 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
For all the new fathers and upcoming fathers coming up, if you can give them any advice on how to be a good father, now's the time, Ken.
Well, treat your kids right. They're gonna do things wrong, so just don't scream at them. Talk to them. You know, listen to their problems. Just not be their friend, but, you know, you're the dad, but you got to listen to your kids. They're going to have problems.
Yeah.
Lots of problems. And they get older, the problems don't go away.
Right.
And if you guys are yelling at each other and you guys are like face to face, that's because you guys' hearts are far apart. Your hearts can't hear each other.
That's a good one.
So
that's perfect.
Make sure you're there for your kids. Happy Father's Day, guys, and stay tuned to the Ferran Show. We'll see you guys next week. I'm Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And I'm Kenny Kerrigan.
And this is Whatever Works. Till next time, guys. Stay blessed. Happy Sunday.
Got that sunshine on my Sunday bed.
A journey of 1,000 words begins here. KCAA.
Eat bread, lose weight. That's right. Eat bread, lose weight. Hello, everybody. I'm Joseph from Joseph's Organic Bakery. We offer ancient grain bread from the Bible. That's right. Ancient grain bread from the Bible. We stone grind daily, ferment using sourdough, and bake that same day. Everything